The first caution flag of the night waves in Daytona up in turns 3 and 4. And Jimmie Johnson is caught up right in the middle of it. He had dropped to the back of the lead draft to protect his qualifying position. He had 8 seconds on Anthony Alfredo back in the field, who had lost the draft. But where Johnson was where Daniel Hemric got up and into the wall. Here's the melee.
It's all why these groups were starting to connect again and catch one another.
Well, you see the 9 car come up. You see the flames come out of the 54 car right here. You saw the flames come out, and it checks the whole lineup.
4 wide.
Yes.
They start checking up. Accordion Stenhouse gets in the back of Hemric, and then the worst one was Jimmie Johnson. Now, I will say, not much damage on that car.
He doesn't have a lot of damage, Clint, but if we can get a shot of the right front of Jimmie Johnson's car, it's going to come down to how low that splitter is. But you see all these cars check up, and Jimmie Johnson's at the back of the field, and they just check up harder than he expects and just gets into the side of the 3 as they're trying to avoid the 31. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad on the right front there, Clint.
A little bump from Stenhouse was all it took to get Daniel Hemric turned to the right into the wall.
Yeah, and that's no fault of Stenhouse there. He's just at the back of the accordion.
Let's ride with Jimmie Johnson.
Blaney went to move up, make a pass. Byron blocked him, got him really stacked.
Byron Blaney
turned
into
around.
the wall.
Kyle Busch.
And just like last year, Blaney gets caught up in the big one.
Looks like he's getting out okay. Saw it coming. He made the move. Byron made the block, and it just got him stacked up behind him and started tank swapping, and it was gone.
Noah Gragson, Blaney walks away from his car. He is okay. The AMR safety crew quickly on the scene. Oh, Riley Herbst's race ends early.
That was a big shot for Blaney.
All right, it all starts. It starts with the Blaney behind William Byron. He goes to make a move. Byron with a big block. Watch this. Kind of a late block. Got him stacked up. Went back to the bottom. Side draft, and then just stacked him up behind him.
Kyle Busch got into the back of the 24 and turned him sideways.
And did Brad Keselowski get into the back of Kyle Busch?
Tore up a lot of good race cars, Clint. Man, you hate to see that in these qualifying races.
Yeah, Keselowski, as you mentioned, he was right there in the middle of it as well.
Yeah, and I think this is going to start with this car right here. Blaney's going to pull up.
Yeah, but
and what's going to happen here is Brad Keselowski's into the back of the 8, who you can see the flames coming out of Kyle Busch's car, trying to keep from getting into the back of the 24, but the 6 is pushing Kyle Busch so hard that he can't get checked up. You saw the flames come out of the pipes.
Doesn't take much. That movement, as soon as he moved and made it, it was kind of a late block, but it was still a good block. And when Blaney went back down to the bottom, it just stacked them up, and they run them over from behind. You saw them all lift, just like you said. Flames tell all sign when they come out of those pipes that they're lifting, but it accordion.
Greg Van Alst making moves early.
Oh, trouble already.
And we've got Tony Breidinger around the 25, and they're wrecking all over the place. Caution is out.
Well. Yeah, SVG is in that as well.
Shane Van Gisbergen had to run this race to be able to race in the Xfinity race, so this will be interesting to see what the officials say.
I think Tanner Gray and the Gibbs number 18 was also in that.
Jeff Schofield in the 07 we see there.
Big damage to Amber Balkan.
Amber Balkan full time.
think that's Ed Pompa in the number 10 car for Andy Hillenberg. That's the 25 of Tony right in the middle. Let's see if she gets squeezed.
So I think the 0-2 got a push there and wiggled down the racetrack, and then they just kind of squeezed and touched on corner entry to 1. Just really tough part of the corner. The car is really light, and obviously a small push when you're racing that close, you know, only a few inches door to door, generates some contact.
Yeah, and the majority of these cars that involve nothing they could do. There Tony gets into the 97 of Jason Kitzmiller.
And everybody else is just checking up, trying to miss it. I mean, half
doing their
cars
best to
in the
try to
back.
miss it.
See the 28 on the right side of your screen spinning around. That's Shane Van Gisbergen.
Here's a Sioux Chief on board for Tony Breidinger.
Yeah, so when that push got delivered to the 55, I mean, Tony, you could see by the lines on the racetrack, she was holding her car dead straight. Just got a push. That 0-2 car came down the racetrack and shoved her into the inside lane. And then in the series, he's raced on some of the biggest stage. Ooh, big accident with one of our already damaged cars.
Yeah, Mandy Chick, she had a top 5 finish here last year, was involved in an accident. More than likely, probably a tire rub from some damage from that earlier wreck. Tough break for Mandy, though.
So Mandy Chick brings out the 3rd caution of this race. That is a tough break. I feel like this race last year, we talked so much about her and her background.
Such a great run.
Get the window net down. It's obviously seems to be all right. Talking with the safety workers.
It's a good sign. Working lap 21 of 80 here.
Engineering student at Rose Holman. Engineering.
Fighting engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take the first look here, exactly what happened with Mandy Chick.
Yeah, I think similar to what you said, Phil. Probably had a tire go down and
saw the debris on the racetrack, probably from where that tire went down.
Crush panel, the whole at the field. So I think you got the fastest.
Oh no!
Cars. Oh gosh, we got Christian Rose
Rose,
trying to hang on to it.
Can he save it? They're avoiding him all around it. What a time you can keep it off the wall here is a job well done. And caution comes out. This is the scheduled caution, and we have cars all the way around as the caution came out. That's Willie Mullins, the pole sitter, going around.
Dale Quarterly, the 4, Leland Honeyman, and the 0-2.
Got a couple others back there involved. Somebody stopped on the track. Can't really see the number there.
That's the 13 car right there. That's
Armani Williams.
Armani was involved in that first incident, but recovered.
And Marco Andretti got caught up in that.
We've got Marco Andretti already spun all the way at the top of the field. Comes down in Dale Quarterly, and other cars just dodging the miss and locking down brakes. I wonder what further back, probably exited turn 2, how Marco got turned sideways.
Doesn't look like Leland Honeyman had much damage. You see that's Patrick Emmerling, the blue and white car behind Marco. This is about the time the caution is going to come out. I'm not sure it's out yet.
Yep, you saw it on the
wall
right
so the
there.
caution is out, but I'm not sure anyone had backed off yet.
They looked really stacked up in that outside lane. I don't know if the couple of leaders were backing up, but you know, Marco was really tucked up. I believe that was the 55 at Gustine. I think he was trying to stay off of him, and whether if that's due to the fact that Marco doesn't really have a rear bumper anymore, you know, is that what makes that push go so bad, or is it just that big of a run? Kind of hard to tell from the front facing angle, but either way, yeah, hooked Marco in front of the field.
A little bit of a touch there from Armani Williams.
Add it to the list of don't push here.
Yeah.
Wow, what a good save. Look how much steering he's got in that thing. On board here from LeVar Scott. I mean, he is. That reminds you of that Kyle Busch save. I don't know if it was 2015 or
when
something
he won
like
the clash. When he won the clash.
I mean, he is. I mean, look at the tire tracks he's leaving.
He's more than 45 degrees sideways.
And Big Willie never got out of the gas. He's outside lane stays in. We've got two really fast cars.
And around goes the 99. That's Michael Maples.
The wall. Oh, gosh.
And another
Impact.
huge hit. And they hit again.
And there's Shane.
Mentioned Scott Melton.
Is that Big Willie? That was Big Willie that hit Scott Melton.
Willie Mullins right there in the 3. He was the pole sitter.
Looked like he hit him really hard, and then it looked like it hung the throttle wide open almost, and
Gets pretty wide coming off the corner and just loses it.
Loose. Just got loose.
He's got something sparking back there. I think he had some sort of an issue where he lost the back of the car because he was kind of tracking up the racetrack all the way on the exit of the corner by himself, and then obviously collects kind of a bystander there in the 69 car, and Willie Mullins hits a ton in the back of that car.
And it's hard to see it from this angle, but there was a lot more smoke than it looked like, probably from the angle that we were looking at it. So Willie was probably in that smoke.
So violent, you see
hard,
that
yeah.
impact. Tonight, so impressive for this
we've got
young
a car
man.
on fire.
We've got a car on fire. There it is,
Andretti.
Marco Andretti. He's had that damage, had a couple issues earlier, and the caution is out for the 8th time with about 3.5 laps to go in this race.
Oh, wow. More than likely, we will have a 1 lap over. Draft of Andres Perez.
It's going to depend on which lane gets the bigger push.
Oh, no.
Jake Finch
Jake
goes
Finch
around and dominated this race, wrecking all over the place at the front of the field. That will end this race. Andres Perez, huge hit on top of another car. Gus Dean in the 55 will unofficially be the winner of this race. Let's see what happened here on the final lap.
Just a lot of pushes, and there was a lot of momentum coming back to that 3rd row, and that outside lane started it, and yeah, just a lot of pushing and shoving.
Yeah, I think Andy J was in the back of Jake, and I think Andy J had Lewis in the back of him as well, and
yeah,
they all just
it was almost
ran out of the road.
simultaneous. The inside and the outside got to the 2nd row at the same time and just kind of fishtailed each other into both lanes.
Watch Perez in that 2 car up against the outside wall.
He's actually climbing over another car here. He like stays mounted on top of the 73
Andy
car.
J's car.
Is that Armani Williams?
It is. It is.
The 13. What an impact for Jake Finch. Led 66 laps tonight, only to go straight into the wall on the final lap. Here's another look.
Yeah, Jake's just going down the straightaway, and they start pushing and shoving there, and
should be good onboard view here from Perez coming up, as he's obviously the car that's
He's on top of Andy Jankowiak's car.
Yeah. Could be a wild ride. So he's getting the side draft, thinks he has a chance to win this race, and then lots of pushing and shoving. 20 gets turned into the fence, and then 2 car goes for a ride.
Oh my goodness.
amazing pictures.
Right behind him, Matt Crafton, the 3-time series champion in that bright yellow 88.
Oh!
And there goes Crafton.
And
we've got a crash. Gray around. The same for Sanchez.
Stuart Friesen in it.
Ty Dillon in the 25.
Dillon into the outside wall in hard contact with that Moffitt. Raja.
6 laps in.
This would be a great shot of it here.
Right there.
He hit Lane Riggs hard. Watch Lane Riggs, that yellow truck, avoid the 15 of Tanner Gray.
Just slipped right through there, didn't he? Great job.
Looks like, is that Taylor Gray? Maybe Corey Heim avoiding Ty Dillon.
And did you see all the dirt that Grant Enfinger kicked up in the infield? Hopefully he can get that truck repaired.
Raja, the 71, also getting some damage.
Then that gets him squeezed out. And then Holmes down on the bottom of Sauter.
Is Bailey Curry going to come up and give him a bump? That 41 truck.
No, I think he just got loose.
Just got loose, and Bailey Curry goes around as well. Bailey's going to get into the inside safer barrier. Brett Holmes keeps his truck out of the safer barrier. Just got loose up off the corner.
We've seen it repeatedly. And maybe that run that Johnny Sauter had on the outside He was down a little bit lower on Brett than he was used to.
Just pulled that rear end of that truck around.
That's the hardest part of this racetrack when you're on the inside of another truck, is getting off. Again,
Yeah.
that's him losing his lap. Oh, he's going to crash.
There goes Ben Rhodes.
I don't know about that move.
Caution is out. 8th one of the night.
Talked about him. He was getting lapped, and he was in the middle of all those trucks.
You know, he's probably wanting to catch the draft. I don't know what happened, but, you know, a lot of times you just bail up to the high side and let everybody go under you as he was losing his lap.
And then rely on getting a free pass next time. Take your penalty and rely on that free pass.
We'll have to get a look at what happened. Yeah, it went.
Yeah, it's gone now, and he's doing all he can do
Pretty remarkable
to try to keep that
he's hanging on to it right here.
And
Yes.
eventually,
look at it turn sideways, and then he catches Tanner Gray in the 15 truck.
luckily, no more.
Trying to get back. It's a push, and he's going to push
There
it
goes
sideways.
Eckes around.
Right.
Into Parsons. Johnny Sauter gets a piece. And other drivers scattering to miss the accident. Caution number 9.
Man, what a mess. Eckes, Sauter, Parsons, right there battling for the lead. Is this a push gone awry, or did Christian just get loose? Looked like maybe Taylor Gray came up a bit, huh, Phil?
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe that caused Christian to turn to the right a bit, and then Rajah sideways hangs onto it.
Sanchez will try to work both. Oh, trouble.
And there's a crash. Caution is out. The race is over. Trucks up in the air. Nick Sanchez leading when the caution flag came out.
Here. Rajah gets into Jack Wood, turns him around. Watch the 17. Just contact from Daniel Dye, turns him over.
Bailey Curry in the middle of that mess. Matt Crafton sliding along. He keeps his truck pointed in the right direction. Look at Matt storm out of there.
Let's ride with Daniel Dye.
Our Fox In Race reporter
and cameraman.
Unbelievable impact.
Daniel had no idea there was going to be a truck right in front of him when he went down that straightaway. That is scary looking.
It's just amazing.
But like you said, that's about as soft as you can turn one over.
That's exactly right. And it didn't just keep tumbling either, like we've seen happen so many times. I don't know if Rajah just lost the front end of his number 71 Chevy or what went down there, but he definitely went up the track and made contact. Look at that mess.
Hunter out of line, 6th. A little drafting help from his new teammate at Joe Gibbs Racing. On board here, this is the Toyota onboard Shelton Creed.
Here we go.
And we have our first caution of the night. It's going to be Sam Mayer in the 1.
Well, there's another car involved.
That is not good.
Kyle Weatherman, the 91.
Trying to figure out how those other 2 cars got caught up in that.
It looked like
Perkins, the blue car inside lane, driving that 29 full-time.
Oh,
there goes Jesse Love.
I was worried about that.
3rd caution of the night. Nemechek involved. Allmendinger, Austin Hill.
I did not
Daniel
like the
Dye.
situation he was in. And now got Austin Hill caught up in it. I don't know if he's got any damage or
I
not.
don't think any damage for Austin Hill. Just a lot of wind in the middle of that racetrack when you're the center of 3 wide. Your car's getting buffeted from both directions, and if you get any little bit too aggressive with the steering wheel, you'll get behind in your steering in a hurry.
Somebody shoots out of line.
I think Allgaier.
It is Allgaier.
I thought he.
I saw smoke. I couldn't figure out what happened.
Oh, and here comes
Took off right there. I got a flat though.
Smithley in the 6. I think he tried to side draft and just slid up too high.
Fix a race car and do it quick.
Got another spinner. That's Nemechek.
Oh.
Josh Bilicki, 92.
Yeah, looks like he got the worst of that.
Big time damage. 5th caution of the evening comes out, 10 to go in our second stage.
There he is at the top of the screen. We put our cone on him, our caution cone.
Yep. Looks
There
like
goes the left rear tire.
Yep. Like he did a pretty good job not to do any more damage to the car. Wow. Got lucky too.
Oh, and just contact there into the back of the 92.
Nemechek involved in that earlier. Under caution for the 7th time tonight. This time courtesy of Jeb Burton. Sliding to the inside. Looked like a little side draft there off of Ryan Sieg, and debris on track. We've got our 8th caution. And we got more than debris. Look at this.
Jeb Burton again.
Keep going straight here. Good. Just got random.
Gives a good hand signal here. He might be able to get out of the way.
This is going to be really tough to pull off. Just watch.
Here's your push. Still bottom at 3 to the lead.
His teammate slapped the wall, and there goes Sage Karam. Another crash at Daytona. Justin Allgaier hopping through the grass.
Uh-oh.
There goes Ryan Sieg.
18, just watch 18.
That might do it.
Caution would end it.
No yellow. No yellow.
No yellow yet. Austin Hill out in front of Sheldon Creed.
Nobody's going to be able to get there yet. Here, 5 back 18, no yellow.
What an advantage on the final lap at Daytona. Sheldon Creed.
Crash. 2 cars slammed together, and Harrison Burton takes a wild ride through the grass and up into more traffic, gets tagged, turned around, and 5 cars are in it. Ryan Preece.
I think he missed that inside wall. Harrison Burton, big damage on the 21 car.
And Carson Hocevar, the rookie, gets taken out into that very, very wet grass in the ball field.
Well,
the Wood brothers trying for their 100th ever NASCAR win, and Harrison Burton gets tagged and sent.
Well, this is exactly what you don't want to see happen. Something early in this race where everybody's trying to race hard, and we just talked about those guys going to that 3rd lane, and it puts those guys in the middle lane in a bad spot with the handling of their cars that they hadn't really been in. Let's see what happened, Clint.
Watch the 21, Harrison Burton.
Okay, you see Harrison Burton in the middle of that 3-wide conversation we're talking about, and we are also talking about John Hunter Nemechek kind of being iffy on his move.
Now the 42, John Hunter Nemechek on the outside of Burton. The green and white car, and Brad Keselowski and he make contact.
Keselowski got to his rear bumper, just took a little bit of a lub tap, turned him sideways, kind of looked to me like he was on the left corner of that bumper, turned him right down into Harrison Burton.
Well, and it's just what we were talking about, Clint, with everybody trying to feel out exactly what their cars were doing.
Now Logano to the outside. They can't get around.
Oh, Keselowski gets turned by William Byron. Blaney gets caught up. Gilliland, Truex, Hamlin, and more.
All those Fords were struggling to get around Chastain. Who could get around and get that clean air track position first? That's what happened.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. I mean, it's a parking lot down there. Cars parked everywhere.
Blaney out. Big damage on him.
Toe link broke on the back. That one's done.
Keselowski all wadded up. Gilliland, the black and red car, right with him. Anthony Alfredo there.
Reddick, massive damage on him.
Thursday night winner Tyler Reddick. Martin Truex. Eric Jones comes to pit road. So does Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin made it back to the pits. So did Chris Buescher.
Well,
a lot of damage.
It just always gets to this point. As you get to the end of the race, the pushes get harder. Everybody's just throwing caution to the wind to say, the heck with it. I'm going to the front. Martin Truex tore it. He's tore it bad right there.
Well, Chastain, I mean, I'd say he was a lone wolf up there. He was throwing blocks left and right, and they were making moves.
It was Alex Bowman with a push into William Byron that did not go well.
But it was the movement in front of them started stacking those guys up.
And you see Alex Bowman up the racetrack, and then they start zigging and zagging here. And
well, obviously, William Byron and Bowman, that's where it ended up. But the movement from the 6 and the 22, jockeying for position, trying to outduel one another to that position of passing Chastain, that's what stacked all those guys up and got them in trouble. Those guys were going for it. Chastain was holding them up. You saw the 6 go to the bottom. You saw the 22 go to the outside. The race was on, and unfortunately, those guys behind him.
This gives you a much better view right there. You see the 24 car just being pushed, and sometimes you're not aligned, and you know you're not lifting, and that car gets to moving around, and you hope it works out, and it just didn't work out right here.
We saw this same scenario playing out at the duels the other night when Blaney got in a wreck. You really can't pin it on anybody. It's hard racing, everybody going for it, but when those cars move in front of them, it slows the energy down.
Oh my gosh. If that left rear quarter panel wasn't curved in a little bit, I mean, it went right with the curvature of the left rear quarter panel.
Ross Chastain and Brandon McReynolds did a phenomenal job of keeping those guys behind him. Had he slipped up one time and missed a block, he'd have been right in the middle of that.
Side lane.
1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank, and away they go. That is Cindric into Chastain and up into traffic.
Did they complete that lap?
Did the leader get the white flag?
This
Caution
could be
waving.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
Austin Cindric going for a wild ride here, as did Ross Chastain.
You see the light on. You see Bowman ahead of Byron right there, but you need to back it up and see this again.
And we'll await a ruling from NASCAR. And the Daytona 500
race winner will be the 24. We'll need the 24 to start finish line.
Goes to victory lane. William.